arrogant, throwing fits, ripping shit, tearing it, imperative. Then I'm killing this mic no matter where I live. These derelict rappers acting a fool, this embarrassing is flagrant. That's the nature of this entertainment, and we can't even change it. Guilty before arraignment, now the system tainted. But when we speak, they all laugh at us. And y'all wonder why I'm lacking trust. Try to fight a giant with attorneys that can back them up. That church versus science, both sides start acting up. I'm late on my assignment, hopping up a mile high, climbing, obviously never silent. New alignment, I'm defiant, cannot describe it. Used to describe it as a young graffiti artist. Before the beard, I always got carded. Hit every bar, even though my bar's been the hardest. The scars on my face, and I ain't always been the smartest. But I'll show you where my heart is. I said I'll show you where my heart is. I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeve. Even if the beat stops, my soul will not leave. If I never stood tall, nobody will ever see. I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeve. I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeve. Even if the beat stops, my soul will not leave. If I never stood tall, nobody will ever see. I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeve. I can show you where my...
The type of guy that would ride with the breeze. I'm higher than most people. I'm cold and icicle freeze. I'm liking to Mike Tyson. I'm a bison, a beast. I'm hot like Jamaica, like right by the beach. My pops is from a spot where they're fighting for peace. 8 years old out there watching people fight in the streets. All these sirens only make the violence increase. Yeah, we're still not loving police. It's that bright young American, nice, dumb, arrogant. Tight on a mic, but he might need a therapist. Heart full of kerosene, head full of fairy tales. Said that you're my homie, you don't know me, but I know you very well. Roll back on some West Coast shit. This whole track is wetter than your dress code kiss. About to hit the track, running on some retro fit. I guess so lit, I guess so bitch, now let's go.
I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeve. Even if the beat stops, my soul will not leave. If I never stood tall,
Pinky.
What's up, buddy?
Time, buddy. Tuesday, October 24th. NBA season starts this evening.
It's going right now, baby. Nuggets up. Let's roll.
Do work. Cheers, my guy. How you doing this evening? Welcome, everybody.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Watching the Nugs because they're on TNT, and somebody hooked me up with their YouTube TV login. So
Nice.
So it's good to watch. Been able to watch some Nuggets. Been able to watch some Avs. It's good, man.
It's very good. It's very good.
And they're not always on the main channels, but when they are.
They have the most nationally televised games this year. Something like tied for the most, something like that. Surprisingly, so that'll be nice. A lot of basketball talk this evening. A lot of football talk this evening. I'm going to briefly mention baseball because the World Series is about to get set here. So only right that we discuss that a little bit.
We got a close game 7 right now.
Yes, we do.
7.
Yes, we do. So we'll discuss that for a moment. But before we get into that, how was your week, my guy? How was your week? Because you gave us some good news last Tuesday.
I did.
We got some fabulous news from you. So how did the rest of the weekend, everything stay up and up for you?
Yeah, man. Probably one of the best weeks of my life, which is, I think, an easy thing to say. It's one of the best weeks of my life. So the weekend was just relaxing, really. I don't even think I did anything this weekend. We watched football all day Sunday. I know that happened. That was good.
Yeah, I don't know what that's like anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's like these days to just sit down and watch football all day anymore. I used to do a lot of that. I don't quite have that luxury anymore.
Yeah, you'll get there, bro.
A couple years from now, I'll get back to it.
I would be like, okay, honey, you go do whatever you want. I'm gonna watch football. I'll have the kids right here with me, but I'm watching football. So
that would work if the 2.5-year-old was willing to stay in a certain vicinity. That doesn't last very long with a good attitude.
Sit your ass down, son.
Yeah, no, it's not working for me these days.
I understand. We've been there.
So, but yeah, we pretty good weekend though. Nebraska women's volleyball went out and played Wisconsin 1-2 matchup. In volleyball terms, it was kind of a match of the century kind of thing. It was a big deal. Nebraska won in an epic 5th set, so that was super cool to watch. Football, Nebraska football came out and won above 500 for the first time since like 2016.
I don't know if anybody cares about that.
This is why it means something actually. Nebraska actually controls their own destiny to win the Big Ten West, which is kind of mind blowing. It also says how epically bad the Big Ten West is.
So if they win the Big Ten West, then they just have to go and get rolled by
Michigan
or Ohio State or...
They already got smoked by Michigan like 55-6 or something like that. It was bad. So it wouldn't be any different the second time around because we still don't have a quarterback. The defense is there.
But you're not playing Sims anymore, right?
No, it's Harburg now. So Sims is out. He's been out since he got slightly injured. Had we been playing Harburg the whole year, we probably would only have one loss, honestly, and that would be to Michigan. He doesn't turn the ball over like Sims did. If you look, Colorado can say whatever they want, but they've proven since the Nebraska game they're not that good.
I don't know about that.
Sadur Sanders is that good, but the team is not that good. And if they don't have 6 turnovers against Colorado, they don't lose that game. Well,
they don't get blown out.
I should say this. If they don't have more than 2 turnovers, they don't lose that game. Anything over 2, they still would have lost. But if they only have 2, they still win that game. They were moving the ball, and the defense was playing really well until middle of the third quarter. Now, next year, when Dion gets a full recruiting class in and another transfer portal in, and they're going to be a lot better. But so that was good. Saturday was good. Sunday was kind of crappy because the Broncos decided to win. I'm not quite sure why that happened. I'm starting to realize there's a lot of Broncos fans out there that, how can I say this as nicely as possible? Lack an emotional maturity to be able to make a smart, thoughtful decision with your brain.
No.
Yeah.
We are no.
That's what's happening.
No. You can't tell anybody how they should feel about their team winning a game. Period.
I'm not.
You can't say that.
I'm not telling anybody how to feel about a win. I'm telling them that a win was not a good thing, and they're trying to argue against.
But that's your opinion.
That's not an opinion.
Nobody wants to watch their team lose.
Of course not. Nobody wants to see that. I don't want to see it. That doesn't mean it's the smart thing.
Okay,
smart thing and an emotional thing.
There's only so much you can do when the other team won't come and take the game from you, okay? We tried. We did our best. We couldn't just give it to them. They had to earn it, and they didn't earn it.
Look, I'm just saying, there are a lot of Broncos fans out there who think winning 7, 8, 9 games is the best thing for this team. And that could not be farther from the truth. That does you literally no good, and that's been proven for the last 20 years, minus the 3 Peyton Manning was here. So I'm not calling them stupid. Like, I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. They are not unintelligent fans. So I'm saying they lack an emotional maturity when it comes to their own sports team to be able to see past their emotions and see what the team actually should be doing rather than what they did. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I'm also seeing a lot of people say Caleb Williams would be the worst pick the Broncos could actually make, and that's blowing my mind too. I don't quite know how to respond to that.
So look, the problem with a lot of people out there is they can't see what everybody else sees when they watch Caleb Williams play, and that's fine.
Well, they keep going back to this. He plays great against bad teams and bad against good teams, and they don't want to talk about how the talent around him isn't actually there.
The whole team plays great against bad teams, and then they play bad against good teams because they don't really have anybody on their team.
Right.
And Caleb Williams does not play defense.
Right. He also can't block for himself.
And there's a Joker triple-double.
Yep.
I really need 3 points from LeBron James, 1 point from LeBron James, and 5 from Porter and 1 from Brown. That's not happening. So I'm screwed. Oh, well.
Yeah, that's tough. But
as long as the Broncos win, or as long as the Nuggets win, that's all that matters.
They're going to win.
I really wanted tonight's win because I like the Lakers narrative and them just saying we're better than them now. We made adjustments. Like, I just want all of that to go away.
Well, there's a lot of good things that happened with this game. We'll get into it, but yeah. So that was Sunday. I wasn't mad Sunday. I was just sitting there going, "Damn, Broncos, you messed up again. Look, you keep finding ways to screw yourself."
I was still rooting for the team. I know a loss would have helped us more in the long run, and I don't care about building up our, confidence for next season. I don't really care about that.
Half the team won't be here next year. There's no point in building up confidence.
Right. So I am more in the
winning right now doesn't help the culture either, people. The culture that Sean Payton should be instilling should be evident whether they're winning or losing.
Well, most of these guys won't be on that roster anyways.
Right.
So like the whole culture thing, like none of that really matters. Because he can go to the young guys and be like, "Don't worry, you're going to be here. I enjoy having you," right? So
we'll get more into that. There's plenty to talk there too. But yeah, that was pretty much the weekend.
So that's it. That's all I got for the weekend. I didn't have any nothing happened. Nothing happened. So
good. Yeah.
Nuggets, baby. All right. I don't know. Did you watch the Bring It On special or Bring It Home special? Sorry, I just said Bring It On like I was cheerleading.
Classic movie, by the way. No, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's on the NBA TV app.
Okay.
And it's like 8-9 episodes. They're like 10 minutes apiece. They're narrated by Jamal Murray. And it just kind of like goes through like the whole evolution of the season. And it just kind of breaks down little chunks. And it was really cool to just see a couple things revisiting last year before we go into this year. Seeing Michael Malone, a coach that we may not have always agreed with. But when you watch the replays of him coaching the team, he knows how to hit the right buttons. He knows this team. He has got the pulse of this team, and he knows how to motivate them.
Sorry, Nikola Jokic is now 1 triple-double shy of tying LeBron James all time.
Right. I mean, it's no shock. Could need. Oh, did LeBron make it? Hey, yeah. I won money tonight. Awesome. There was a DraftKings Joker to score 20, LeBron to score 20. Double your money.
I saw it.
That was good.
I did not get my bets in on time. Trying to get everybody going. So
my parlay is 2 Michael Porter points and 2 Michael Porter points. I think I have everything else. If I can get 2 Michael Porter points, I've got everything else on my parlay. I'd win over $100.
You might get that. There's definite chance to get that still.
So, watching Aaron Gordon, his evolution coming from Orlando to Denver, changing, in Orlando, he was the guy, he had to score. In Denver, he's more of the muscle, the rebounding, the tough plays in the paint, the glue guy, and him accepting that role and being awesome in that role.
All-star, legit all-star, and he won't get those votes or that nod, but he is an all-star right now.
Oh, absolutely. He's just like, he is that glue guy. And then you just like everything, Bruce Brown's contributions, Christian Brown's contributions, Joker being Joker, Jamal coming back from injury, not being great to start the season, took him some while to get into the flow. Like, he looks way better to start this season. Like, if we have this Jamal Murray, like, we should be fine.
I mean, he's 2 years removed now, a little over 2.5 years.
I know, but he struggled to start the season last year as he was coming back.
He didn't trust his body, is what it was. And come playoff time, you could tell he finally started trusting his body, and the natural skill finally took back over. That's what happened, and that's what we're going to see for a full season this year. So get ready for the Nuggets having multiple All-Stars this season, because Jokic and Murray are definitely going to be there.
If you're a top team and you're getting all the hype, you're getting all the accolades, you're going to have All-Stars.
You should, but this isn't just like we're voting for you because the media loves you and covers you all the time. It's legit talent for a change, where that doesn't always exist.
I also got my second Nuggets tattoo.
Yeah, you do.
It doesn't look great right now. It's all bloody.
Yeah.
But thank you, Michael Malone, for the inspiration. I got basically the same thing. I got Maxey with the trophy in his hand. It's beautiful. It looks so cute. And I've decided I'm just going to make this arm the Colorado sleeve. I'm going to add the Avs to the back end of the arm, of the forearm.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the Colorado tattoo. So it was awesome, man. It was a good time. And man, I just thinking back in last season, just, number one seed, everybody counting them out after the trade deadline. The Lakers made good trades. The Suns making the trade for Durant. Everybody was counting out the Nuggets, but to still come out and just dominate throughout the playoffs. And I get it. Like, would it have been a tougher series if they had to play Golden State? Sure. Would it have been a tougher series? I think it would have been a tougher series if they had to play the Kings, in my opinion. As much offense as the Kings have. Now, I think, again, Denver's offense is just as good.
Yeah, the Denver's offense was better. The Kings were a historic offense last season, regular season, but playoffs are different, and the Nuggets were built to have a considerable playoff run already. The Kings weren't, and the Kings don't play defense. So that wouldn't have been a good series either.
Which is going to be their struggle. Is
the series that would have been touch and go, in my mind, would have been if the Clippers were healthy and we saw them. That would have been the series, and that's probably still the series this year that would be the issue. So Nuggets look like they're 12 points, a minute 15 left. Looks like they're about to win opening night home.
Avs were down when we started. Avs were down 3-2, and now they're up 4-3 at the end of the second period. Let's go.
Love it. Avs victory, Nuggets victory, opening night for NBA. Let's roll. Let's do this.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad. I mean, I don't know if they said, is Booker going to play? I know Bradley Beal's not going to play. But
I haven't gotten a chance to look at everything yet.
But before we go to that real quick, what was your one moment that stood out of the Nuggets season last year besides winning it all? What's that one moment?
I'm going to go back to that game 2 against Phoenix, that ugly victory that they had. It was a grindy, gritty, bodies on the floor type of game where neither offense against, with Phoenix and us was looking great. Shots started to fall late in the game, but they had to grind that entire win out. And that for me told me, and I said this, the next day or whenever we came back on, I said that win right there proved to me that they are a championship team. They have taken the next step, and they are willing to do anything and everything it takes as a team to make sure those victories come.
Hey, bro.
That to me was it.
I just hit, bro.
Attaboy.
$140.
I would have had 65 and 120 or something like that. But again, when I went to hit submit, all of a sudden it gave me that odds change. And then it said I had to re-put it in because the game tipped. And I was like, damn.
Oh.
Damn. I was too slow. So, yeah, I lost money tonight because my bets actually...
Two of my colleagues both trailed me on that bet, so I won them money too. Nice. So that makes me feel even better.
Heck yeah. Always feels good when everybody wins.
Everybody wins. So I've got a second one. I put LeBron 20, Joker 20, Aaron Gordon 12, Durant 25, Curry 25. And that'll give me another $30.
Solid.
All right. I'm going to say like my Nuggets moment of that season, it's probably got to be Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers, where you know what? I'm sorry. Game 3 of the Finals against the Heat.
Okay.
And in the fourth quarter, who else but my Jayhawk comes out and just dominates Game 3. 16 points in the fourth quarter. They had no answer for him. They didn't know what to do. I just like that moment for me. That really stood. I love, again, being a Kansas guy, Christian Brown. I wasn't sure how he would transition to the NFL or NBA, because I didn't know. Like he was really good in college at everything. He just doesn't have that like one thing that he's really, really good at. So I didn't know how that would transition. I wasn't sure when the Nuggets drafted him. He has gone way above my expectations. His defense, his ability to just play within the offense. Michael Malone trusted him as a rookie because he gave him a lot of time as a rookie, which is not normal for Michael Malone. So
effort and hustle will go a long way. And then just not making stupid decisions on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. He played within himself, and it will be nice to see him take another step forward this year, because that's needed.
Just so you know, that was an eight pick parlay that hit.
That's incredible.
Aaron Gordon, 12 points. Brown, 25 points. Murray, 20 points. Porter, 12 points. Murray, 5 assists. Joker, over 9.5. Gordon, over 3.5 rebounds. And Joker, over 9.5 rebounds.
Nice. Well, Jokic is averaging a triple-double for the season. Good to see nothing's changed, and we pick right back up where we left off.
I was kind of worried. I mean, he had almost a double-double at halftime. He only had 2 assists at halftime. And he didn't score in the third quarter.
That's because he doesn't have to. I mean, that's what it comes down to. He doesn't have to.
So I am it's super cool. God, should I cash this out right now?
What is it?
So Cody gave me a money line. Kraken, Sabres, and Anaheim Ducks money line. Sabres won. Kraken are up 3-1 now. Ducks are down 0-1 in the second period. I can cash out right now, and I'll double my $10 bet.
Yeah, that's sounds like a cash out.
I can let it ride, and it'll pay $140 if I win. I'm gonna watch it.
I mean, you won the other one. I'd let it ride personally. But
I won 2. I won the Joker and LeBron. Doubled my money on that. And then I won 110 on the Nuggets one. So I'll let it ride.
Let it ride.
All right, moving on to this season. Obviously, started tonight. Nuggets won. Dropped the banner. Got their rings. I had not really watched a ring ceremony before. That was interesting. I think I like the way the NFL does it better. They have like a night. They have like a gala. You know, they hang out. They get their rings all together in like a special event just for them. I watched it on TNT. I didn't like it. I'll be honest. The rings are dope.
I like this better than what the NFL does because the fans get to celebrate it with the players and the coaches and the front office. The organization and the fans are one once again, and they all get to celebrate it together. So
Ducks just scored.
I personally prefer what the NBA does over what the NFL does.
All right. So the ring was dope. I don't know if you got to see kind of the details about the ring. I did like that this ring, literally, you can rotate, and it's got white diamonds, but then you can rotate it, and then blue diamonds, sapphires?
Yeah, I think so.
Sapphires come out when you rotate it. That's super cool. It's got a gold ring that you can pull out of it. That's got the banner on it.
You can take off the top of it.
You can't take the top off.
Yeah, dude, they were doing it. Didn't you watch them when they were all sitting there holding it? They were all like taking the top off of it and holding like the ring and the top separate.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I didn't know that they could do it until I watched the players doing it while the banner was raising.
So,
solid first ring.
So again, the goal is to get more, right? That's the goal. The goal is to get more. But I like it when, like, the other thing I didn't like is like some of the guys that for the NFL, they usually will invite some of the guys that may have left in free agency. They get a chance to hang out with their guys and get their rings. Some of them won't take that opportunity. Some do. I just think that's a cool way to do it, because if you retired or if you left in free agency, you don't get that chance. They're going to send you your ring.
No,
but
they actually wait until you come to play them at home, and then they give like it's like a short little individual ring ceremony in front of the crowd right before the game kicks.
I don't know.
So the crowd again gets to recognize that player for their contribution.
So, I mean, it's either way, it's cool. It's cool. I like the banner dropping. That was cool. I mean, and then the Nuggets took care of business, and that's
yes,
so. I was a little worried. With the Lakers having the motivation, revenge. None of that mattered, man. The Nuggets just did what they do. Like, it just didn't matter. And I did see there was some good defense out there.
Yes,
I don't know if people the people probably won't want to admit it. There was some good defense out there by the Nuggets. It's not always great.
Did you see a certain 7-foot Serbian moving his feet and staying in front of Anthony Davis and making him take difficult shots?
Until he got into foul trouble.
I'm just saying there is things are improving that people are going to have a hard time finding negatives about going forward this season. That's all I'm going to say.
So, all right. So we've definitely cheered on the Nuggets enough. Obviously, we're excited being Nuggets fans, but it's time to talk about the NBA as a whole.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of really fun stuff to look forward to.
Yes, there is.
So I know you put together power rankings. Do you want to deliver that? or we just want to talk about some excitements for the season?
What
do you want to do?
Let's do this. Let me see. Hang on.
Can you share it?
I'm going to try to.
All right.
Hang on. Nope. That's not it. Why is this doing this? All right, hang on. Maybe it's not going to let me.
So you got to pull it up in a separate window, and then you've got to share the separate window.
I know, that's what I'm trying to do here. But I've already got it pulled up, and I don't know why it's not letting me.
There we go.
Yeah, but now it's not letting me do.
Are you doing the present button?
What's the present button?
It's down here at the bottom. That's what you got to use. That's what allows you to pull up a second window.
Yeah, but I don't have a present button down at the bottom.
Oh, I've got a present button.
I don't know why I don't have a present button.
Oh, no.
Like I used to have one.
Interesting.
But it's like gone. Yeah, no, it's not gonna. Here.
All right.
Let's
Are you
see.
just sending it to me?
Yeah. Let's just send it to you quick.
That means I gotta. How are you sending it to me? Email?
What's the easiest?
I don't know. Email?
Okay. Let's see here.
All right. So we're gonna talk excitements first, then, and then we'll talk power rankings because it might take me a moment to pull it up.
Yeah. That's fine. I don't know why I don't have that option anymore.
So tell the people what is something that has got you excited about the NBA season.
Oh man, there's so many good storylines this year. I mean, obviously you've got Dame over there with Giannis in Milwaukee. You've got Porzingis and Holiday joining Boston. God only knows what's going to happen with Philly and Harden. You got the return of Zion. You've got
Caleb.
What?
You created some iCloud notes thing that only pulls up if you have Apple, bro. I don't have Apple.
Hang on.
So you're just gonna have to leave.
Just hang on.
All right.
You've got, I don't know how else to send it to you. Copy that. Stupid. Why is this being so difficult this evening? Let's do this.
Okay, so you sent it over in Messenger.
If that works. If it doesn't, then it just...
Well, it just means I got to pull up Facebook on the wife's laptop first. So, all right.
We are struggling this evening, people. Stay with us. So you've got the storylines of the players moving around. You got some guys coming back like Zion. You got Bradley Beal joining Durant and Booker.
How healthy is Zion?
Healthy, fully, 100%. I actually saw a quote from David Griffin just the other day that said, "This is the first offseason that Zion has ever taken his craft seriously." And that's from the GM of the Pelicans, who has been critical of Zion at times. So you're still going to see a dude who looks big. I don't think that's ever going to change. It's just kind of his body type. But I do believe he's leaned out a little bit, and I believe he's put in the necessary conditioning work in the offseason for his body to be able to hold up for, let's say, 3/4 of an NBA season. And if they get 3/4 of an NBA season from Zion with some nicks and bumps here or some load management rest there, and he can play the whole season and he's good to go come the playoffs,
they can't rest him now though with the new rules, right? Because he's too young.
They can. Pre-existing conditions, coming off of an injury, there's still gray areas and loopholes within this load management. That's another very interesting storyline this year, how the NBA is truly going to police that and enforce it. Because the teams have become accustomed to doing business a specific way. And they're going to push that limit as much as they possibly can and cross that line to see if the NBA is really going to come down on any of them in a meaningful way that causes the teams to reevaluate the way they're doing that business. So,
because if a guy's over 30, they can load management, right?
Yes, but you can't do it with another superstar sitting out the same night. Superstars are defined specifically by first team, or all NBA selections or all-star selections, and there's a lot that goes into it. So that's why I'm skeptical of how much the NBA is truly going to enforce it. Because if guys, you could say guy tweaked his ankle in practice, right? Or in warmups before the game, like he's sitting now. How are you going to come down on a team for that when it's not just them sitting? The team gave him a designation, actually. You know what I mean? So that's what's going to happen, I feel like. It's not going to be load management. It's going to be, oh, man, he rolled his ankle in warmups, and we're going to sit him as precautionary because it's sore now, and he can't go. That, I feel like, is what's going to happen as the new load management. So we'll see. But to me, if the Pelicans can get 60 games out of Zion this year, huge win. And then, like I said, the end of an era. You've got LeBron is 39. You've got Curry at 35. Kawhi Leonard at 34, 35. Durant at 35. There's a lot. There's a lot of guys that Jimmy Butler, that we kind of grew up watching, and a lot of other people did too, that are going to see their careers coming towards the end now. And we're watching the new age, the new talent, the young guns, if you will, coming up and starting to take over as the new face of the NBA. Now, they're not there yet, obviously. There's still some big names ahead of them, but that's what this season is going to be kind of the beginning of, I believe, is that changing of the guard a little bit. So those are some of the big storylines. I think your MVP race is going to be one of the most interesting that we've ever had, because every true MVP caliber guy that would be a preseason list guy, if you will, has somebody else as a running mate that is going to take some of that vote away from them, if you will. Dame and Giannis, Tatum and Brown, Tatum and Porzingis, Tatum and Holiday. You've got Embiid with nobody now. Maxey may show out, and then you've got a two-horse race there. You've got Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Jokic, and Murray. There isn't a situation where you have that one true front runner this year, I believe. Now, I do think Jokic is the front runner, and I think he proved tonight why. Dude threw up a triple-double first game of the season against the team that they swept in the Western Conference Finals last year. But I do believe Murray's going to play at an all-star and all-NBA level this year. So that's going to, take a little bit away there, just like everybody else. So we'll see what happens. I think Curry is probably the one guy who, if he has just an insane year and Golden State can win, Curry's the one guy that doesn't really have anybody that's going to take shine away from him. Clay and Draymond, Kuminga could step up.
They're not taking shine from him, though.
No, exactly. They're not taking that shine. They'll be there, and they'll be contributors of why they're good, obviously. But they wouldn't really take away the shine from Curry. So if he could put up a big season again like he started out last year with, and they don't go through injuries where they have a stretch of losing and they can be, in that top 4 debate in the Western Conference, Curry could be the one kind of guy that could run away with it for sure. I would say, to me, there is a dark horse out there for MVP, and it is Zion Williamson. He's going to have to play more than 60 games to get it, but Zion is a dark horse to be league MVP. And the reason I say that is if you go look at the numbers he was putting up last year before he went out, where the Pelicans were and the numbers he was putting up were MVP. Not even joking. I'm not even exaggerating.
So, I mean, you're saying dark horse. So I will say I can't call you an idiot on that if you're just calling dark horse. I just don't think he's going to have like the cachet built up to get those votes.
Oh, but, sir, you are wrong. You are unfortunately just wrong, my guy.
I don't think so.
He was averaging like 28, 9, and 7.
I understand what he's. I understand
and the Pelicans were second in the West.
He's got that stink on him now of that injury, man. Like it just. He would have to have a monster season over Joker, over Embiid, over Curry, who's usually in the conversation for a while.
I'm going to tell you right now, if he's healthy enough to play 72 games and the Pelicans are in the top 3 in the West, he will probably be your front runner this season. So that would be my dark horse for MVP, would be Zion Williamson. I think people are kind of forgetting how good he truly is. I think they just think of him as a big dude who can dunk, and they're forgetting the amount of talent and skill he truly possesses.
I think he's got the injury stink on him right now. That's where I think that's going to hold him back. Even if he has a monster season, I just think that there'll be people out there that are just like kind of waiting for that shoe to drop. And again, it's going to be based on how well the Pelicans do. They're going to have to be at the top to get to that point.
We'll see. So, as you can see on the screen, everybody can see these power rankings I've created here. The Nuggets proved tonight why they're number 1. They're the defending champs. You got to knock them off, or they got to do something that's going to put them in a position where they're no longer the favorites.
Hey, just
plain and simple.
Just won another $40.
Solid. You're on a roll tonight, my guy.
Avs. I had Avs 3 goals. Rangers or Islanders 2 goals. Miko to score. McKinnon to score.
Cruising.
I'm on a heater. Let's go.
Nugs, top spot. No brainer. Milwaukee at 2, Boston at 3. You can flip them if you want. This is why I haven't. They both can play defense. No questions there. I think Milwaukee is a little bit better defender as a whole. I think Boston's a little bit better offensively as a whole. But you're really splitting hairs there because Boston can play defense and Milwaukee can play offense, especially with Dame there now. What puts it over the edge for me is I believe Milwaukee is a little bit more consistent when it comes to their superstars and the guys around them. And that consistency, I believe, is what can win over in the end. So that's why I've got Milwaukee slightly ahead of Boston. The Clippers at 4, I think people are forgetting how good that team is. Now, look, we're doing this at the beginning of the season. Everybody's healthy. We expect them to stay healthy the whole season. I understand the Clippers are not going to stay healthy. Like, that's a big ask for Paul George and Kawhi Leonard to play a whole season. That doesn't change the fact, though, that had they been there for the playoffs last season, I fully believe they're in the Western Conference Finals, and they're making it tough on the Nuggets. I still believe the Nuggets would have won, but the Clippers are really good, and they've got guys around them as well. Terrence Mann, Russell Westbrook, there's guys there.
I mean, Terrence Mann is a guy in the making. Like, he's really good.
Absolutely. And let's not forget, there is a possibility, as much as I would wish the Philadelphia 76ers would just send James Harden home, find him the entire season, and nobody would want to touch him. I do believe at some point Philadelphia finally just accepts whatever discount the Clippers are offering, and he ends up with the Clippers.
So I was listening to Chris Mannix. He was on the Rich Eisen podcast today, and he mentioned he mentioned a really interesting team for Harden that I hadn't considered. Are they on your list? Oh, yeah. The Miami Heat. Because the Heat might get desperate towards the end. I mean, the Heat have a 2-year window right now.
So here's the deal.
And that's it.
I can't see Pat Riley being that dumb. I just can't. Nothing about James Harden fits with Heat culture, that team, Jimmy Butler. Yeah, I don't see that in any shape, way, or form being a good idea or a good fit. So, I mean, Chris Mannix, Sports Illustrated, NBA Insider, good for him. I think that's a terrible thought, but that's just me. So, we'll see. We'll see. But Clippers 4, Golden State 5, Lakers 6. Yes, I know the Lakers beat Golden State last year in the playoffs. Okay, I get it. I explained last year during the playoffs why I felt that happened. I believe there was some team turmoil, some team chemistry issues going on. That team did not look like they were together and willing to fight for each other, and they ended up losing to the Lakers. I don't think that's going to be an issue this year. And I think the addition of Chris Paul, while it may not go perfectly with what Golden State has done in the past, I think it could have surprisingly positive effects on some of those young players, namely a Jonathan Kuminga, and their overall development and maturation process within that organization and their contribution this season. So I do like Golden State slightly more than the Lakers. I also, again, you're expecting teams to stay healthy the whole season. If Golden State was healthy last year, they're not finishing as, the 6th seed. That just wouldn't have happened. Lakers are the Lakers. I think they could easily finish in the top 2 or 3 in the West. They could also finish in the bottom, 6 or 7. There's a lot of question marks on that team. Yes, they did bring some solid veteran moves in the offseason. I do like their offseason. But you're still really relying on Anthony Davis and LeBron James. There isn't another true guy you can rely on after either one of them on a consistent basis. Austin Reeves might turn into that guy. Hachimura is probably your 4th option. That's not bad. It's not. But you're relying on a lot of role guys to go with LeBron and Anthony Davis, which is LeBron's MO. And that's what they're trying to do.
As the Lakers were getting back into the game tonight against the Nuggets, Anthony Davis didn't score at all in the 3rd and 4th quarter.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why he has a tendency to do that, but there are just times where he just kind of disappears.
Yep.
Which is strange for a guy who can be just so dominant like he can be. Problem I have with the Lakers, I just LeBron rolls an ankle. He's out for 3 weeks now. AD, AD random. I mean, last season was one of the healthier seasons. I think he still missed some time.
He did
last year.
He did. Now they're deeper this year. They have more depth, better talent overall, to where if they lose either one of them for a stretch, they won't be as bad as they were last year.
I think LeBron only played 25 or 30. I think he played 30 minutes or less tonight, which I think is what they said is their plan for a lot of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, they have to have him full go for the playoffs this year, and they don't want to take any chances. So, Lakers 6. Phoenix 7. I know there's a lot of people who want Phoenix higher than this, but I'm sorry. They're not going to play any defense. They don't have any depth, although they were able to add some bench pieces with the trade of DeAndre Ayton when they got involved with the whole Dame situation, and they were able to move some pieces and bring some guys back in. So that worked out in their favor. But look, Devin Booker and Kevin Durant put up all-time historic performances against the Nuggets on multiple occasions. They were able to win 2 games in that series. All they did was add a third scorer. That's it. And they got worse in every other situation.
I don't like
depth.
Losing Ayton is still. I think they still they used Ayton to get a couple more depth pieces.
They brought in Nurkic,
but
so they will have somebody to fill the middle, but he's not as good as Ayton, and nobody else is really going to touch the ball. with those three. So fine. Again, I'll keep saying it. Let all three of them go off for 30 a night. Shut down everybody else around them.
Right.
And then make them play defense. Okay, so they score 100 a night because they get a couple points from a couple other dudes. But if that's what they're doing and all three of those guys are averaging 30 and you're shutting down everybody else, you're going to win those series. That's just how it's going to be. So I'm not nearly as high on Phoenix as a lot of other people. I think they'll be really good regular season. I think they'll have a really good regular season. They might even finish second in the West, maybe even first in the West. But I think come playoff time, that's all going to get exposed. And that's why when I'm looking at power rankings for where I have teams, this is basically the order I have in you being able to win the championship, right? When you're talking about a preseason power ranking, that's kind of what you're doing. And that's why I have Phoenix where they are. Miami, I thought about this long and hard. They lost a couple pieces in Strus and Vincent. But they didn't have Hero that whole playoff run. And he comes back. And Hero's better than Strus or Vincent. He is. I don't care what anybody says. I don't want to hear it. If you don't remember how good Tyler Hero is, you need to go back and watch some film. The dude is really good at basketball.
They still really need that they need that one more guy though.
And they will. Riley's known for making moves. So because of the organization, because of the culture, because of Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and how much I think Tyler Hero is able to contribute, they do make number 8 on the power rankings. Pelicans at 9 is simply because. Go ahead.
Let's be honest. They make number 8 because besides, why am I drawing a blank on his name? Besides the Spurs head coach, Spoelstra's the best coach in the league. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Besides Popovich, Spoelstra's the best coach in the league. That's why they're on the list. That's it in a nutshell.
That's a damn good point, Pinky. Pelicans sitting at 9. That is simply because of what I watched them do to start the season last year when Zion was healthy. They were second in the West. Like I said, Zion was averaging like 28, 8, and 6. They were rolling, and they were looking good and dangerous with McCollum, with Ingram, Vucevic. Valanciunas.
Yeah, that guy.
Valanciunas. Vucevic is in Chicago. Sorry. Valanciunas. They are talented, and they're young, and they're hungry with just the right sprinkle of some vet leadership and talent. So New Orleans could easily be 4 or 5 on this list. They've got a lot to prove this year. But and talent-wise and what they're capable of, I think they're going to surprise some people this year that aren't expecting that for some reason.
And I think we can all
at the beginning of last year, or they just don't quite know who's on the team. I don't know, but New Orleans is going to be a team to reckon with.
And when I was listening to Chris Mannix on the Rich Eisen show, he did a 40 minutes on the Rich Eisen show, which is a pretty long segment for a guest.
Yes, it is.
He talked about the West, and he was just like, "This is going to be a competitive conference." He's like, there's at least 12 teams that think they can make the play-in, and then there's at least 8 teams that know they can make the playoffs. He's like, there's still 5 or 6 that can make the conference finals, but he's like, they're all going to be beating up on each other. Like, it's crazy. So,
yeah, it's gonna get heated for sure. The West is a better conference again. There's no question about it. Sacramento at 10. Respect to what they did last year. Let's pay attention to it. Now, they have to repeat it. They have to build upon it. And you need to see guys take that next step. I don't believe they're as talented overall as New Orleans. I think New Orleans top to bottom, when you look at the talent there, I would say Zion's better than Domantas Sabonis. I don't think that's a debate. It's the question of is Zion going to be healthy? That's the question. De'Aaron Fox is more talented than, I would say, CJ McCollum. But is he more talented than Brandon Ingram? That could be a push. CJ McCollum and Keegan Murray. That's kind of even too. There's a lot of similarities between the Pelicans and the Kings. Young teams with some sprinkling of some vets in there, up and coming, trying to do their thing. So the Kings could take the next step, and they could be the team that's, second in the West. They could be in that conference final with the Nuggets. I'm not putting that past them, but they're young. I do believe they need to start playing better defense. That definitely cost them against Golden State last year in that series, especially in Game 7. They had them on the road to finish them. So the Kings have some.
So what is a team like the Kings, where they put up? I might just be pulling it out of my ass, but I want to say they were like second to the Nuggets in offensive efficiency. Maybe
the Kings actually put up the best offensive season historically in NBA history.
Okay, see,
last season, they were incredible. Here's the problem: regular season, you can just run guys out of the gym every night if you really want to, and that's a strategy that you can use throughout the whole regular season. It's been proven that that's not going to work for you in the playoffs. So they have to learn how to play a different style of offense, half court, which they're not great at right now. Doesn't mean they can't get great at it by the season's end, but they're not great at it right now. They need to learn how to play consistent.
So
defense. It doesn't have to be great defense, but their defense needs to be in the top 15 of the
league. How do you get there without getting different players?
Defense is simply effort. So if the guys are willing to, for lack of a better word, buckle up their bootstraps, if you will, and go to work, defense is just effort. And if you're willing to put in the effort, it's very easy for your team to be good statistically at defense. That's just the simple fact. And then offensively, what they would need to take the next step is Sabonis would have to become an offensive threat from 15 to 20 feet. He doesn't need to be a three-point shooter yet, but he's going to have to be an offensive threat from 15 to 20 feet. And if he can't consistently hit that elbow jumper, free throw line extended areas, that's going to be an Achilles heel for them still. So those are the things that you would have to see from Sacramento to be able to take that next step without bringing in anybody else. And they're definitely capable of it. So I won't put it past them. Sabonis is a question mark for me, though. He's got a lot of room to grow, but that shot, that's the biggest thing. If he can take that shot and have that 15 to 20 feet, that free throw line extended, the elbow, those shots, and he can hit them consistently, then he can take that next step as the Jokic light, if you will.
Yeah, he was definitely baby Joker last year with the different things he was doing.
Yeah, see, I don't agree with that. And I know that's what a lot of people said, but the fact is he wasn't an offensive threat. The majority of his points were within 10 feet of the basket, rebounds and putbacks, little dishes from guys driving the lane. And forcing
he's not going out to the 3-point line and hitting 3-pointers like Joker.
He doesn't have to, but he has to be able to hit that free throw line shot consistently. And that's 15 feet out. So everything between the 3-point line and the free throw line, if you put a big arc there, that area is where Sabonis needs to be able to live this year and make people feel it. And if he can't do that, it's going to be hard for the Kings to take that next step.
Booker is on fire right now.
Not surprised.
He's already got 15.
As you see, there are some honorable mentions. The 76ers, you're asking a lot of Maxey to step up. He's got to do a lot to step up. You need to Tobias Harris to become that second option again, and I'm not sure if Embiid is willing to allow that to happen. So they've got some question marks. Now, when you look at this, though, I've got Philadelphia as what? Oh, 4th in the East. So it's not like I'm thinking they're going to be bad, right? They're still 4th in the East, but they're just not in the top 10 for me.
Right.
Minnesota.
Right.
If you have all those guys healthy, and I truly believe Anthony Edwards is special, they get McDaniels back, their defensive stopper, and who I believe could be a 6th man of the year candidate, could also take a step forward offensively. You get Cat. Gobert could play some defense. I'm not a Gobert fan. I think they need to move him, but they won't. They have some talent on that team, though, where they could easily finish in the top 4 or 5 of the West. They could also finish in the bottom 4. They'll be in the playoffs, but they can finish in that bottom 4 getting into the playoffs, maybe even the play-in if they're not careful.
Right.
So Minnesota, consistency is a big thing, and you still got to see all their stars do it on the court together, which they haven't had a chance to do yet. Cleveland, young, hungry. I talked about them last year. You've got Mitchell, you've got Garland, you've got Mobley. They've got guys. They're young. I think they could take another step forward this year. If they do, you could be looking at them as a top 3 seed in the East potentially. So keep an eye on Cleveland. Who you don't see on here is Memphis. I think Memphis is going to struggle this year. No Steven Adams. I'm not sold on John Morant still. I'm not seeing him take that growth in his game to the next step.
How many more games he's got under the suspension?
How many did he get? 20, I believe.
I thought he got more than that, but
no, it should have been more, but it wasn't more. Let me pull it up real fast.
So I will say while you're pulling that
25
up,
games.
25, okay. The 76ers, I feel like, and again, this is just top 10 power rankings. You've got East and West teams. 76ers are probably the 3rd or 4th best team in the East.
Sure.
And again, I think you could probably swap them out with the Heat. Although Harden was pretty good for them last year. So not having Harden, and they didn't really do anything.
Nope, they did not. New head
change,
coach, new system.
So yeah, I don't know about them. I do like the Timberwolves. I do like the Cavaliers, and I love the last one on the list. I'm high on them. They made the playoffs last year. The OKC Thunder.
Yep, they are this year's kings, in my opinion. I think people need to pay attention. You got the Williams twins. You've got Chet Holmgren going to be having his rookie season finally. You've got Josh Giddey. There's just a lot of young, great talent down there in OKC that I see finally being able to break through a little bit. They finished 2 games under 500, I believe, last year and got the 10th seed to just barely get into the play-in tournament. This year I see them competing for that 7-6 seed. Now, they might not get it, and they might end up in the play-in again as the 10 seed, but that's only because of how competitive the West is going to be. And you're going to be talking about those final 4 slots, that 7, 8, 9, and 10 that does the play-in. You're probably going to be talking about a game or 2 that separates all of them. It's going to be close. So
in the West,
yes, and I believe, and this is really hard to do, but I do believe all 10 Western Conference teams in the playoffs are going to be 500 or better. Now, that is tough when you're playing in that conference and you're going to cannibalize each other a little bit, but I think they'll beat up on the East enough to where you will see that, and that's going to make it really interesting. So keep an eye on the OKC Thunder because they're going to be a lot of fun.
I think they're going to be really fun. I think Chet. If there wasn't so much hype on Wemby, Chet could be in that Rookie of the Year running.
This is what I believe, and that was the next thing I was going to talk about, so I'm glad you brought it up. Rookie of the Year is going to be a 3-horse race, in my opinion. It's going to be Wemby, it's going to be Chet, and it's going to be Scoot Henderson in Portland.
You don't think Miller will get any run on that just based on, playing for a shitty team?
I think he'll put up some numbers. I don't think he's that good or that consistent compared to the other 3, and I don't think he's going to do as much on the court as the other 3.
Pinky Jr. says Scoot. Scoot's going to get it.
I've been saying that for how long, Pinky?
Yeah.
So
you're not telling Caleb anything new.
Junior's a smart guy. When it comes to basketball, he knows his stuff. That's a good call.
I don't know if I'd say smart guy, but he's pretty good. He's pretty good.
I do believe Scoot will win. but this is what people need to understand. This is going to be a 3-horse race for the Rookie of the Year, and it's going to be very similar to the MVP race last year that was Jokic and Embiid. I do not think Wemby's going to have the overall better statistical year. I think he'll put up a lot of really good numbers as far as points, rebounds, and assists, and the hype that's already following him will cause people to lean in that direction a lot of the year. I think Chet will have the best statistical year as far as overall points, rebounds, assists, shooting percentages, all of those things. I think Chet will have the best statistical season. But I think Scoot Henderson is going to have the best real numbers. What is going on over there?
What do you mean?
All we hear is background.
There's people talking over here.
There's like a cat yelling and like dishes shuffling and
yeah, the cat's in heat, man. I can't.
There's a lot going on over there right now, my guy.
I can't help that part. But
Scoot is going to have the most impactful numbers, and what I mean by that is he is going to do things that you're going to look at on a nightly basis and go, "Damn, he did that. Damn, he did that. How is Portland?" What is happening? They lost Dame. They shouldn't be winning games. Like, I think Scoot is going to be the dude. And I think he comes in NBA ready more so than any rookie I can remember in a very long time. So,
okay.
That's my guy. And honestly, if I had the number 1 pick last year, I'd have taken Scoot. I think I don't
know about that, man. I don't know about that.
I don't think Wemby's going to turn out to be a generational talent. I think he's going to have a really good Hall of Fame potential career. But I don't think he's going to end up doing anything where Jokic is going to always be kind of that gold standard now when it comes to what a center is capable of when it comes to points, rebounds, assists, efficiency numbers, and things of that nature. Wemby will do some flashy things. Wemby will do some things that we haven't seen, 7-footers do. But it's not I don't think it's going to translate into these epic, amazing numbers that we look at and go, oh my God, I'm still in awe of what he's doing. I'm not seeing that.
I don't agree with you on that, my friend. I don't.
Most people don't, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. Look, Wemby is a healthy version of Porzingis. Wemby is a healthy version of Chet Holmgren. Wemby is a healthy, polished version of Bol. Wemby isn't something we haven't seen before. He's just something that is doing it at a younger age. Well, no, Bol was doing the same thing at Oregon. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't care what anybody says. Doing what you're doing in college is about the same as Wemby doing it in the French Pro League. The talent level is pretty much the same. Yes, one's playing against grown men and the other one's not. I'm talking about the talent on the court. DB, that's fine. Look, you go and evaluate your own. I evaluated Wemby from what I've seen as a really good basketball player, not a generational talent.
Ooh, man. Well, you know what, bro? You have fun on that hill by yourself, my friend.
Man,
it's lonely. It's lonely on that hill, and that's
for me to be proved wrong. The dude's got to put up a LeBron James career. I feel pretty confident that that's not going to happen. He's not
going to. Nobody's going to put up a LeBron James career. Get the fuck out of here.
Right, but that's what Wemby has to do to live up to his hype.
If Wemby helps the Spurs win a few titles, he's lived up to the hype. Because numbers at the end of the day, like, I don't care about numbers. If you're able to make your team better and get some rings, that's what matters. Now, I worry about Wemby. I worry about Chet. Those ankles are thin, bro. Like, that's what I worry about.
Fine. Kevin Durant was just fine.
Kevin Durant's also had some injuries too. Not to saying he hasn't overcome those, but they're also thinner and taller than Durant.
Not really. Not really. When Durant came into the league, he was 7 foot, 205, 190. They're not much different. They're really not.
Holy shit. The hell happened in the Avs game? It was 5-4, and somehow it ended 7-4. Jeez.
So, I mean, look, Kevin Durant's been doing a lot of these things Wemby's doing. And Wemby's only 3 inches taller than Durant. He's got a bigger wingspan, but he's only 3 inches taller. So, again, everybody keeps talking about Wemby like he's this unicorn that we've never seen before, and it's not entirely true.
Well, you are definitely on the minority of that take, my friend. Big time. Big time.
I'm good with that.
So
totally fine with that.
What else we got?
I'm not saying he's going to be a bust. That's definitely not what I'm saying.
So, look, if he gets the Spurs a title or two, he lived up to the hype, in my opinion.
He's got to be the main dude. He has to be the dude that does that. He can't have somebody else that's his equal or running mate and then do it. He has to do it by himself. That's how much hype he has, and it's crazy and it's unfair, but that is the hype. That is what he came into the league with. LeBron James came into the league with the same hype. LeBron James lived up to, and in my opinion, surpassed every ounce of hype that was put on his shoulders as a senior in high school and an 18-year-old coming into the NBA. I don't see Wemby doing the same thing. If I'm wrong, cool. Hey, I've eaten crow before. I'm not worried about it.
I mean,
But
you do like your
I'll give you
crow.
my honest take and my honest evaluation all the time. That's, how I'm going to roll.
You like your crow. Nothing wrong with that.
Gotten pretty good at cooking up the delicacy of crow.
All right, so let's wrap up the NBA. What's the last thing you want to say? We're going to talk about more about the NBA now that now it's back and we can talk about it.
Yeah. I will say that I am excited for this season because I don't feel like there's a true front runner and a true one-man MVP kind of thing that the media is all going to darling over. I think you've truly got a lot of really good teams. I think the Nuggets are the favorite in the sense that they're defending champs. They're still really good. But I don't think they're some kind of overwhelming, odds on nobody else can catch up to them like Golden State was with Durant or, things of that nature. I think we're going to have a really fun NBA season where you see a lot of really competitive basketball.
So, and the Nuggets are going to need their youth to grow up during the season.
They will. But I was going to say, all of that said, also makes me excited for the in-season tournament to see how – look, everybody keeps poo-pooing that, but anything that's going to cause those regular season games, especially the beginning of the season, to be more competitive is a good thing. So let it happen. Let's see if it truly does that.
I mean,
and causes those games to be a little bit more competitive. Because if it does, that's what it's intended to do, and that would be awesome.
I mean, the only thing that's exciting about the play-in tournament is, or the in middle of the season tournament, is that a couple guys that aren't making a lot of money, if you win, they get paid more money. That's about it. There's nothing really exciting about it to me, in my opinion. In fact, I don't even know why it's even there because it's not counted as games. So
yeah, it is. What are you talking about? It's they're using regular season games as part of the tournament. I mean, you don't like soccer, so you wouldn't understand it to begin with. But anything that makes the games more competitive is a good thing. That's
you know what? Cheers. We'll agree on that. Because I'm not the hugest fan of soccer, and the in-season tournament makes no sense to me.
Everything's got to start somewhere. So let's see what it does. A lot of people hated the play-in games for the playoffs, 3 years ago when they started. I think it's a great idea because it makes teams still compete towards the end of the season. So
I would like – so I guess in that scenario, I would almost – I really hate the baseball, like the 3-game series. I almost feel like those play-in series should be like 3 games, best of 3. But
one shot, one
game. One game, you have an off night.
Top 6 seeds, right? Like it's that simple.
And you're not wrong on that.
Again, anything that makes the games more competitive and forces teams to try, if you will, for as long as possible during the regular season is only a good thing. I don't see any negative to it. That's my take.
All right. Oh, NBA season. We are excited you're back. We got hockey back. We got NBA back. And then, of course, we have football.
Wait, before we go to football, I'm going to mention baseball real quick.
Okay.
Texas Rangers beat Houston in 7 games. They are in the World Series 2 years after losing over 100 games. So let that sink in for just a minute because I'm going to go somewhere with that.
Bro, they still lost a good amount of games last year.
Yes. And then you've got Arizona going against Philly right now, Game 7 of the NLCS. Arizona's actually up 4-2 in the top of the 8th. So if Arizona were to win, that's another team who lost 100 games a couple years back. These teams found ways to do things the right way, turn their teams around, make a serious run, and now have a chance at a World Series title.
I mean, it just goes to show, man, if you can get into the dance, anything can happen.
Oh, not just that. It's so much more than that, in my opinion, Pinky. It shows you how epically bad and how on purpose a team in baseball that consistently loses truly is. Namely, a team like the Rockies. And I say that because if these 2 teams, and then you throw in a team like Baltimore who built a lot of young talent and then added some pieces that they needed to be a good team this year, if you can turn it around in a couple of years within baseball by doing things the right way, it shows you that you don't have to be bad unless you want to be bad. And I mean, what else can you say about the Rockies?
Well, they've typically been a farm team for other teams.
Right. Yeah, for Major League Baseball. But congratulations to the Rangers. We'll wait and see if Philly or Arizona makes it.
The last 2 games, it's so crazy. The first couple games of the series against the Astros, they could not hit high heat. They go into batting practice or whatever. They change everything up. They smoke high heat for the last 2 games. They won like 9-2, and then they won like 11-4 or whatever yesterday. 11-4. Good on them, man. Garcia has the most RBIs of any championship series ever.
Yep. Big time. And the final little thought about that American League series, there were 2 pitchers, one on the Rangers and one on the Astros, a Mr. Max Scherzer and a Mr. Justin Verlander that started the season somewhere else. And it epically failed. Like all-time level bad failed. And that would be in New York with the Mets.
Right.
And yet they both get traded midseason and somehow end up on the teams playing in the American League Championship game. Crazy.
Mets are just a dumpster.
It's not good.
So I will be in Phoenix this weekend, so I'm kind of hoping for the Diamondbacks to win. Probably won't spend the money to go to a World Series game, but we will go to the bar to root on Probably root on the Diamondbacks. Sure, we're down there. Might as well.
If they make it, I mean, they still got to beat Philly here.
I mean, it's the top of the 8th, so there's still 2 innings left for Philly to make up. They got to score 3 runs. So,
see what happens. So that's the baseball talk.
That's baseball. All right. We want to talk. All right. We're not going to talk everything about last week, but I think there's a couple good talking points. Bro, what are the Bills doing? Are the Bills as good as we think they are?
No, but I said that a couple weeks back. I think they're kind of fool's gold at this point. They missed their window.
And I think I'm almost convinced Josh Allen would be perfect in a run the ball down someone's throat, play action game versus the let Josh Allen take it out of shotgun and throw the ball 40 times a game. He just doesn't seem to play that game. But if we could keep it 3rd and 2, 2nd and 5, because you're running the football and then you can let him throw it deep and take shots, I think you'd be all right. But his drive, when he's just there in the shotgun, 3-4 wide, bro, they are bad.
Well, anybody's going to be bad when you don't have any balance to your offense. I mean, this has been proven time and time again, year over year in the NFL. And for some reason, the Bills think that they can just scrap that. Even Kansas City runs the ball. And they're doing it more this year than they have in years past. But even Andy Reid would run the ball at least to make it look like they're going to try. Buffalo doesn't even do that most of the time. So, I mean, good God. James Cook is breaking off 5 yards a carry, and you're only giving him 10 touches a game. That's silly.
That is a little. It's definitely. It's not. It's just ridiculous. He's doing pretty good when they give him the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
So that was one that I like. And again, when you're playing the Patriots, you're playing Belichick. He's still a good coach. I definitely think they're behind the times and they don't have the talent. I still think they could go into any team and beat them on a given week if you play into their hands.
Any given Sunday, it's the NFL.
If you play into their hands, I think you can win.
There is zero reason why Buffalo should have lost to New England, other than bad coaching and bad scheme. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to.
We had the other game that was really shocking. Ravens laying the beat down to the Lions.
Yeah.
And this was a game that just we've talked about that, when you have that snowball effect.
Yeah.
It's things aren't going your way, and then the other team, everything's working. That's kind of what happened. David Montgomery being out, the Lions not just being able to consistently run the ball definitely hurt. But that defense had been playing pretty good, and they let Lamar look like MVP against them. Damn.
Well, first of all, let's not say that Lamar isn't an MVP.
He hadn't looked amazing this year.
Don't do that. That wasn't Daniel Jones. It wasn't Kirk Cousins. It wasn't Brock Purdy. That was a former unanimous MVP doing what an MVP does. You wouldn't have said that if Patrick Mahomes did that.
Hold on. I've got Lamar in a lot of fantasy leagues, and he had not really played a great game this season.
I will agree with that, but don't be surprised that he did it. He's incapable of it.
Well, I was surprised that he did it against the Lions. That's all. I thought the Lions had a pretty good defense, and maybe they proved me wrong. Or maybe Lamar's starting to figure it out. I don't know.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. Let's be careful how we look. You're on the verge of having to call Lamar a quarterback. So let's just be careful about how you're talking about my man there, okay?
He's getting there.
You are on the verge of having to.
I'm not going to call you out of bounds or stupid. So he's getting there. All right, he's getting there.
Oh, what I love about that, Pinky, is the fact that you will never eat your crow for calling me that already. You will just eventually just say, "Yep, I'm on the bandwagon now."
Hey, I get to go see Lamar this weekend, so we'll see. He's
That
playing the Cardinals this weekend. We'll see how it goes.
That should not be a good game. It'll be fun to see Lamar in person, though.
But the Cardinals have been competitive in almost every game. Even the game they played this week was competitive. So
it was.
You just don't know what you're going to get.
Good on Gannon.
We don't have to talk a lot about it, but I'm going to give a shout out to Tyson Badgett.
Okay.
Because he, Division II quarterback, played a pretty good game. Raiders suck, man. They're really bad.
I told you to keep an eye on that guy going into the draft. He's not just a Division II quarterback. He is the Heisman equivalent for Division II. The dude can ball. And we've had Division II quarterbacks before come into the NFL and have a lot of success. Now, here's the problem. He's not going to get a shot in Chicago, no matter how good he plays this season.
Oh, yeah, no.
Because they're going to have to either go back to Justin Fields, or if they decide we're going to keep Justin Fields on the sideline because Tyson's playing well enough to do that for some odd reason, and that's what they think, they're going to have enough losses to then go ahead and get like Caleb Williams or Drake May, and then Badgett will compete next year for, the backup, and Fields will be gone. So unfortunately, he's in a really crappy situation as a young quarterback trying to prove himself.
I mean, Badgett and Fields are both in a crappy situation at this point because the fact of the matter is, even when Fields plays well, the team's not winning. Yeah. And so you have this situation of now I'm getting closer to have to pay this guy $40 million or more a year. Do I want to put in that investment versus I can just draft the next guy who may be a better thrower of the football? Maybe. Again,
Caleb Williams, I will say Caleb Williams maybe. I might give Caleb Williams that. Maybe. So I think Justin Fields is really good.
I don't. But I've seen some things that makes me go, you know what? If Fields had a real team around him, could he win games and be okay? Yes. Yes, he could.
Do you mean that in a sense that you truly believe he could be good enough, as in you wouldn't be mad if he was the Denver Broncos quarterback? Because that's kind of you've got your like Andy Dalton line, I kind of judge things on what you say of whether or not they are viable to be a Bronco kind of thing. So do you see enough from Justin Fields that, like I talked about last week, and granted there's a lot of what ifs that involve what my scenario was, but eventually trading for Justin Fields on a discount, basically because you're outside of that area of drafting one of the top quarterbacks, and you give him a $40 million a year deal, which, let's be honest, the way the NFL is going would be a bit of a steal on a 5-year deal. It wouldn't be great, but it would be a bit of a discount.
I don't think Fields will ever be that guy that I'd want to give $40 million a year to. I don't.
Ooh. Okay, so then you're not really seeing enough from him at all you think he's maybe a backup in the NFL?
I feel like if you could get him cheaper.
Okay, now let's go here. Have you seen enough to have him on the Andy Dalton line of above or below?
Oh God, he's so close. So the games he's played well this year, what's been hard to evaluate is the games he played well, the receivers he was able to find open, they're wide open. And everybody who's got protection is going to find those guys. Okay. So I don't know. Like, he wasn't thrown into windows. He wasn't throwing with a lot of anticipation for most of them. He had a couple. He did have a couple. I'll give him that. but not enough for me to make that type of investment.
So then this would be my final question for you.
That's a big investment.
I'm not saying it's not. We know where I stand. I feel like you're a bit on the fence where I might be able to sway you, and this is what would do it, if anything would at all. Do you see enough talent-wise where you're like, guy's talented, but the scheme and the coaching is just so bad he's never going to overcome it? Or do you think the scheme and the coaching is such that a Kirk Cousins, a Brock Purdy, a Kyler Murray could succeed in it where Fields isn't? Or do you think they'd all fail in that Chicago situation, basically?
Well, I think they all wouldn't look great, obviously, because they don't have time to throw. They don't have time to make decisions. DJ Moore is really all they really have. I would need to see more consistency from him. And what's kind of, and I get it. And so this is where, like, when he started making his comments about the coaching staff, he is thinking more because he's trying to be a quarterback, but then he also has this really great ability to run.
So let me ask it a different way. Do you think he's showing you that flash of potential in spite of the coaches? Or you think he's showing that flash and potential regardless of the coaches?
So, like, it doesn't really matter. He's got some flashes. Yes, that is true. He's shown it this year. But is that enough to really bank on $40 million a year? I just can't do it. I can't.
Yeah, see, I think you're thinking about $40 million like it's some kind of big number, and I'm looking at it as a discount going forward.
Well, so it's a big number when you're already paying a guy you're going to cut $40 million.
Right, but you can't look at it that way. That's the kicker, because you're going to have to pay anybody. So do you want somebody who you have potential and could turn into your guy, or do you want to just pay some dude like they did with Case Keenum? Because I'm going to tell you right now, a Case Keenum type, you're still going to pay $35, $40.
Caleb, if the Broncos weren't paying a guy they're going to cut $40 million, could we possibly take that risk on Fields? Sure.
Why?
And would it be worth the risk, maybe?
What are you going to do otherwise,
they're drafting a quarterback. It's going to happen.
But my whole scenario is being outside of that top 3 quarterback. You're not getting Williams, or Penix. So if you're not getting one of those top 3, why? Why would you not?
They're getting one of those top 3, bro.
Again, my scenario was they're not in that conversation for whatever reason. So in that scenario, living in that world, because that's where my world is when I'm talking about grabbing Fields at $40 a year, does that change it for you at all?
No.
Okay, fair.
I can't put that investment on a guy that I haven't seen the consistency in.
So then I'm going to ask you again, what are you going to do instead?
I don't get paid those. I don't get paid those bucks to do that, man. I would be. There's a couple quarterbacks I think the Broncos would look at if they're outside the top 3. That would still. They would still draft.
Who?
Bo Nix. He's got to come out. They could get the kid from Florida State comes out. I think he might have to come out. So there's that kid. There's guys.
You would rather have those guys on a rookie deal knowing they're not going to be very successful in the NFL over Justin Fields?
I mean, we don't know that. I think you're taking the same risk. I'm just saying, you cannot spend $40 million on a guy that's not on your roster and pay another guy $40 million. You just can't.
Yeah, you can. You can.
Not if you're trying to put anything else around him.
You'll probably eventually come around to this next year when it happens, because they're going to have to do it, because they're not starting some rookie that they draft. I guarantee you that. So they're going to have to pay a vet, and they're going to pay a vet at least $30.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they will.
Andy Dalton's making less than that. They can pay Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's making less than that right now.
What's he making? Like 28?
He's making less than that. He's making like probably 10 to 12.
Yeah, no, he's a backup. True. He's a backup. But you're not – that's not – oh, my God. If that happens, Pinky, then we're in an even more disastrous situation than I had originally anticipated. And I'm already talking about FEMA needing to be around. So if you're talking about somebody like Andy Dalton starting on a $12 to $14 million a year contract next year, Broncos are screwed, kid. You may as well punt next season too and start looking at a top 5 pick.
Sure.
There's no reason.
Look. The hypotheticals you're putting out are fun. There's no way the Broncos in this season less than a top 5 pick.
Why? They're not playing terrible, and they're obviously still trying to win games.
I don't see too many more wins on that schedule, man. Pull up the schedule and look, man. I don't see them.
I have.
Maybe the Patriots. So the Patriots game is the only game I look on that schedule and go, yeah, we should beat them. Everybody else, I'm like, could they beat the Vikings? They could. Could they beat the Texans? They could, but are those gimme games? No, not at all.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I love Michael Penix. He worries me as a prospect.
There's some things that I'm like, okay, I'm not quite sure of. He's got 2 really good wide receivers he's throwing to. They seem to be open.
I'm not huge on Drake May. I think there's some crazy potential there, but I'm still not seeing a guy necessarily elevate the talent around him. Caleb Williams is the one that I've really watched going, okay. There's definitely things there that you can do. But again, Chicago is going to have to overhaul. Like, they can't keep the same coaching staff and then draft one of these guys. They'll ruin that guy too. So the only way Chicago comes out successful with this is if they get a whole new coaching staff that's devoted to that quarterback.
Bro, I guarantee they're going to have a new coaching staff.
And that's another reason why Fields is definitely gone, because they're not going to keep Fields on a third coaching staff that didn't draft him, right? Like, there's no way. So he's getting traded somehow. I personally, and again, look, I live in the minority. I live on my little hill. I live on the island by myself. Like, I get it. I personally don't think Sean Payton's the guy to draft and develop a young quarterback, because from my eyes, I've never seen Sean Payton develop a quarterback. Drew Brees is all-time great without Sean Payton. So I think Drew Brees made Sean Payton more than Sean Payton made Drew Brees. And I think that was proven evident when Sean Payton had the ability to work with Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston, when neither one of them could really do what was needed.
I mean, they won games. They just didn't, they weren't spectacular.
Because there's a lot of talent on those teams.
Right.
And that defense is still really good. So I think Sean Payton needs to go if you're going to draft one of these young QBs. If you're going to go with Fields, I would feel comfortable keeping Sean Payton, because I think Sean Payton could develop an offense similar to what he did for Taysom Hill for Justin Fields that would be effective. I don't know if Sean Payton can develop Justin Fields, but I think he could actually at least develop an offense that would be dynamic with Justin Fields. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay. So again, I think Broncos are looking at a fire sale of everything. I think the Bears need to be doing the same thing. The Cardinals, surprisingly, we talked about them being 0-17. We said they probably wouldn't be very competitive. And they turn around and blow all of that out of the water to the point where it sounds like Kyler Murray might actually be playing here in the next 3 or 4 weeks. So, yes, Pinky, you won. Easy. Easy, bud. Easy.
Bro, I just won another $140. I am on fire tonight.
You are.
The Ducks won they won by shootout.
So,
cheers to Cody.
Cheers to Cody. Cheers to Cody.
Cody put that out. I played it. It worked.
I don't, and again, we kind of touched on it at the beginning of the show, but I don't think there's a lot of optimistic things that Broncos fans should be thrilled about. And the fact that they're giddy over this win, like it's some kind of beneficial thing for the franchise as a whole.
They're just excited for a win. Just let them be excited about it.
No, Pinky, because no, I'm not. I'm not going to do it because in my personal opinion, that's stupidity. And it's crazy. And you're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And you can't do that.
You know, players on the field are not trying to lose.
Right. It's not their job to do that. Their job title is to win games. That's their job title. Their job title isn't to lose.
Look, we did exactly what we tried to do. We got the lead in the fourth quarter. We gave the Packers the ball back.
Nope.
The Packers.
Nope.
Jordan Love throws an interception.
Pinky.
And it was horrible. It was a horrible interception. What are we supposed to do?
Sutton and Judy should be traded now. And you've already lost value on Judy. You could have gotten a first for him in the offseason or a high second. There were rumors of those being floated. You're not getting either one of those now. You might get more from Sutton now than you would have in the offseason. He's playing better.
You might be able to get a second for Judy for a desperate team like the Cowboys the Cowboys don't do trades, so whatever.
You should be trading Surtain. You should be trading Simmons.
So you should trade Simmons if you can get a good deal for him. I would agree with that. Surtain, if you get 2 firsts for Surtain, I have a hard time saying no. I'd agree with you on that.
Well, I'd take a first and a second. I don't know what people are misunderstanding here. Cornerback is not an extremely important position in the NFL right now. So the fact that you wasted such a high draft pick on him when there were other areas of need on that team is already the mistake. Now you're holding on to him out of desperation.
So it's a mistake to draft. It's a mistake to draft the Pro Bowl player.
Well, you could have had Micah Parsons. You could have had.
Hold on. There were a lot of teams that passed on Micah Parsons for one specific reason. He had a lot of character issues.
Sure.
So I'm not faulting anybody for not drafting Micah Parsons. In fact, the Cowboys started him at middle linebacker to start with until they got injuries on the edge and then moved him to edge. So even they didn't know what they had until they put him out to edge. And then it's like, oh, he's really awesome.
They'd have figured it out. He would have shown out. They would have figured it out. Let's be honest. There were still some solid offensive and defensive line on the board. There were a quarterback on the board. You went for a position that wasn't a position of need and wasn't a high value position in terms of NFL needs. And now you're going to hold on to that and request 2 firsts when you need to fill holes everywhere? Like, there's no reason to pay that dude. There's no reason. No reason to give him his 5th-year option.
So
there's no reason to give him a big contract.
You give him the 5th-year option to trade him, but the point I would agree with, he's played well enough to keep him. He's played well enough to be a building block. But
I'm not saying he's a bad player, so please don't anybody out there. And Pinky knows I'm not saying Pat Surtain is a bad player.
If you can get, to me, 2 firsts helps alleviate okay, now I don't have to pay that guy on top of paying a quarterback who's not playing for me anymore. So that helps a little bit. But you still got to have corners to play in the AFC West. Again, I'm on the side. If you can get 2 firsts for him, okay.
Would you rather have a pass rush or a secondary in the AFC West?
I mean, we have the secondary. We don't have the pass rush.
What would you rather have in the AFC West? In the NFL as a whole, really?
I mean, it's easier to find pass rushers than it is to find corners.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's definitely not. It's harder to find a quality pass rusher than it is a quality corner. Yeah, most definitely.
No, finding an average corner is okay. Finding a really good corner is difficult.
Right, but you can win with average corners and a pass rush. You can't win with great corners and no pass rush.
Got it one or the other.
Facts, man. Facts. So the Bears, the Broncos are in very similar positions. And that might hurt Broncos fans, but that's the facts of where the situation is right now. There needs to be a complete overhaul. There needs to be a complete teardown. The only difference between Denver and Chicago is Denver ownership, in order to do what's right, is going to have to eat a lot of money to do what's right, where Chicago won't have to eat anything.
I'm not disagreeing with you on any of that. I'm just saying there is, like, at the end of the day, you can't be mad at people wanting their team to win.
And that's not what I'm mad about. I'm not even mad. What I'm frustrated about is fans talking about how they should keep winning. Like that's going to solve problems. Like that's a cure-all for the culture and the atmosphere and the. Not how it works.
I'm definitely not in the camp of, well, we can start that run to the playoffs. That's not happening. That's not happening. Like the games we lost already were the gimme games that we should have won that could have helped us get to the playoffs. That moment's passed. Now we're in the, okay, can we win a few games to just like win a couple, but then also lose enough to get into that top 5? I think we can.
Two things can be true at the same time. You hear it all the time. Two things can be true at the same time. You can love your team and you can be happy with a win. You can be happy with the success. But you can also be smart enough to know that success, which is very limited, is going to cause issues for your future to be good again. So it is okay to not want your team to win. That is an okay thing to do when you are talking about the NFL. If you're talking about college, I would disagree with you. Because year in and year over in college, there are so many things that can change that it doesn't matter if you win or lose the season before. So wanting your college team to win every game, regardless of if they're going to win a national championship or not, I'm all for. But college isn't a business like the NFL. College isn't a profession like the NFL. And the NFL, you don't have the ability to go out and recruit a whole new class that can replace everybody on your roster with 5-star talent and then win everything the next year. There's a salary cap in the NFL. There are rules and regulations that you have to work within that if you continuously win 8 or 9 games a year, you are going to continuously win 8 or 9 games a year and be irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. And that's where the Broncos have been for the last 2 decades, because they keep making choices to be okay and win enough games to keep a fan base happy and coming to the stadium, rather than doing what's necessary to take the hit, overhaul the roster, and truly rebuild rather than always trying to reload at 8 or 9 wins. And there's a lot of teams in the NFL that are guilty of this. It's not just the Broncos, okay? But we're on a Bronco network. We are Broncos fans. I'm going to try to use the example that most of the audience can relate to.
All right. Moving on. We had the Dolphins playing the Eagles, it's pretty evident if the Dolphins offense doesn't keep up when they play good teams, they lose those games.
Here's what I've noticed about the Dolphins. Insanely talented. Potential to ruin your day. But they're all finesse.
Right.
They don't seem to have that dog in them, if you will. They don't have that grinded out type of mentality to win a game right now. And until they get that, they won't be a serious title contender. I don't know how they get that. I thought I'd see that a little bit more from that defense this year with Fangio being down there and some of the guys that they have on that defensive side of the ball. I really expected that defense to be a little bit better and maybe be that dog for the team and let the offense be a little bit finesse. That hasn't happened. So until McDaniel can find a way to generate a dog for them, I think Miami is just going to be on the outside looking in. Now, I think we should also mention Philly still looks like they're kind of figuring things out.
They are.
Definitely missing, both the offensive and defensive coordinator. Still trying to find a little bit of chemistry. The fact that Devontae Smith, you could almost forget that he's even on the team right now is a little weird.
Right.
So,
they're trying to keep AJ Brown happy.
And I think AJ would be happy as long as he's getting some looks. And Devontae's going off one game, he's going off the next game. I think he'd be okay with that. I don't think he's okay with the you go, I go, you go, I go kind of thing. But I think Devontae is, look, AJ Brown is supremely talented, right?
Right.
I don't think Devontae is that far below him, right?
So
very different receivers. But if you're talking about, if you rank them overall talent-wise, you might say, let's say AJ's at 90. You're going to put Devontae Smith at, an 85, right? I mean, there's not a huge discrepancy between them.
It's definitely not a big discrepancy.
Right? So the fact that they're not using him right now really consistently in the offense, and they're not using Goddard consistently either. I mean, Goddard had a game where he, no-showed, and then they made it a point 2 weeks in a row to get him the ball.
Diamondbacks are going to the World Series. It is set.
Diamondbacks, Rangers. Baseball cannot be any more pissed off when it comes to media rights. But I personally love that. I love when you don't have your normal teams in. I love when you show the fan base that if you do things the right way, your team can be here if needed. So I'm all for it. I will be watching it. It's the World Series. I know we don't talk about baseball a lot, but I have been watching and following the playoffs. So I'll be checking it out. But that'll be cool. You got two teams that are definitely not on the radar. They're definitely going to take a hit in the World Series viewership. But the story behind it, I think baseball is going to be really happy with. And the fact you've got two really bad losing teams a couple years ago now in the World Series.
For all of us baseball fans, but not diehards, I like the idea. Rangers win their first, Diamondbacks can get their second. That's a win-win for either one in my book. So hopefully it's a good series. Hopefully it's 6-7 games.
That'd be great.
We want to see, right?
That'd be great.
All right, week 8 of the NFL. Can you believe that we're almost halfway?
No.
It always goes so fast.
Yes, it does.
So, all right. So, starting with the 11 o'clock games, Eagles Commanders. I mean, it's Eagles. It's Eagles. The Commanders' O-line is so bad. Sam Howell gets hit all the time.
Sorry, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. So you tell me. Can you see that really good?
Yeah, buddy. It's beautiful.
That's the Nugs championship ring. So that's what I was talking about, where the top comes off.
So it doesn't. It comes out.
No, that slides all the way off.
Right, that slides all the way off.
That's what I meant when I said. That's what I meant when I said the top comes off. Like it can be separated from the ring itself.
So that's not the top. That's just like there's a separate ring that comes out.
Well, I see that now. So that's I didn't realize it was like 2 rings in one.
Right.
But it's cool. That's a cool design the way they did that.
I read the story about it. They wanted to make something different.
Yeah, with the way they have the banner underneath there, and that gold ring, and then you've got the silver, and then this is the area that Pinky was talking about up here, where you rotate and you can see the sapphires and change.
Right by the pickaxes.
Yeah, right up here in this area. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. Sorry that I've been looking for it, trying to find it, and I finally found the pictures of it.
I dig it. I do like it a lot. Eagles Commanders. Eagles are going to win that game. Moving on.
Yeah.
Falcons Titans. God, who knows? Falcons.
I'm going to say Falcons as well. I think Arthur Smith at this point, I really like him as a head coach, but I think he needs to pull his head out of his ass a little bit and start scheming up ways to get his talent the ball instead of being so focused on this. We're going to run the ball and everybody's part of the team. Dude, you got some dudes there that you need to start using.
They should just trade Kyle Pitts, really, because they don't use him enough, but that's my opinion. Jaguars Steelers.
Okay.
This is one of the more interesting games of the weekend.
First of all, our buddy's not here tonight, so I can't have a full-on conversation, but conversation needs to be reopened ever so slightly about Baker Mayfield outplaying Kenny Pickett, and we still got a long season to go, and that might not look so great by the end, and
we'll get there.
Finding ways to win and stay at least 500, and let's be honest, on a serious note, Pittsburgh has a lot of talent that is getting wasted right now by a 30-year-old playbook that shows zero innovation and zero ability to scheme guys open. And I think there is a legit argument now, if people are willing to be honest with themselves, that George Pickens might have actually been the most talented wide receiver in that draft. He's just not in the best situation to be able to prove that talent, and he's still putting up crazy numbers in Pittsburgh. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying that conversation, it could easily be reopened.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I mean,
hey, think about
he's
this.
In a bad situation. He's in a bad situation.
Put George Pickens on Minnesota and put Jay Jetta on Pittsburgh. You telling me you're still saying Jay Jetta is more talented?
I mean, I think Jay Jetta is more talented than George Pickens.
And you'd be saying that if he was on Pittsburgh and Pickens was with Minnesota?
I mean, maybe, but if Jay Jetta was on Pittsburgh, maybe they don't get that 20th pick. Maybe they don't even have that, so we don't know.
How about if Jay Jetta was on Pittsburgh and George Pickens is on Minnesota?
Let's just say
Jay Jetta isn't.
Let's just say I know Kenny Pickett's bad. Like, it doesn't take.
I won't say he's bad. I think
he's below the Dalton line. He's below the Dalton line. I'd still take Andy Dalton.
I'm going to disagree with you, but what I was going to say is I think he's as talented as Mac Jones.
But I think Mac Jones is below the Dalton line. So.
I'll agree. But that's what's crazy to say, because when you think about it, you look at Mac Jones and you go, well, yeah, he's bad, but he also has no talent around him, right? You look at Kenny Pickett and you go, well, he's not good, but there's a lot of talent there. So why isn't he getting the ball? So then you have to look, you literally have to look at Kenny Pickett and go, damn, could he? Like, you have to question a little bit, like, could he be better if he had an actual offensive coordinator?
No, he can't be better.
I think he could be more Kirk Cousins if he had an actual offensive coordinator.
I don't know. I still think he's shitty.
Look, I wasn't a Kenny Pickett guy coming out of college, so I'm not trying to defend the guy. I'm just saying, based on my eyes, That Pittsburgh offensive play calling is atrocious.
It's not great. I will agree with that. Ooh. So Jaguars win that game, in my opinion.
Yeah, but let's be honest. They are. I think we can both agree. I hope we can cheers to this. Our biggest disappointment thus far in the season.
I mean, they're still 5-2. Are they that disappointing?
Have they looked as good as we thought they were going to?
They have not.
Right.
But that doesn't mean there's not room for growth.
I agree, but do we feel like there's still an AFC Championship title game contender?
No, definitely not.
Because we felt that way at the beginning of the season. And we're not feeling that way about them right now. So to me, based on everything we thought going into the season, I would say they're our biggest disappointment right now.
Are they? That might be worth a conversation.
Fair.
That might be worth a conversation on what is the biggest disappointment. They're 5-2, so are they really that disappointing? I don't know if we could say. I don't know.
We'll wrap back around to that next weekend. We'll keep that as it.
So
think about it, watch it, look out for it this weekend, and then we'll discuss that next week.
Here's a good one. Battle of the Turds. Jets and Giants.
Well, the Jets aren't a turd. I'm not sure what more it's going to take for you to finally come to realization.
I mean, I'm just not a Zach Wilson guy.
That's fine, but the Jets are going to be competing for a playoff spot.
They play good. Look, I'll say this: the line is 2.5 Jets. I would smash that in a heartbeat.
Okay, and I'm going to continue.
But it's still going to be a turd game to watch.
That's fine. I don't disagree with that, but I will continue to say if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, the Jets are undefeated, and we're calling them the best team in the NFL right now.
They're not undefeated. They're not undefeated, but they'd be good.
Who do they lose to?
We're not going there. Patriots, Dolphins. We're already 2 hours. We're not going there.
The Dolphins should win. Move along. They probably won't now that I said that, but they should win.
Well, Dolphins are 9.5-point favorites. Like, part of me is like,
I'm not touching
Patriots
that.
In the points, right?
I'm not touching that. Yeah.
Rams and Cowboys. This one is interesting.
A week ago, I would have said yes. After what I saw this last weekend, I'm going to say the Rams are fool's gold. And they had us thinking maybe they'll be kind of good this year. I don't think they really are. And I think Dallas is starting to figure stuff out a little bit.
We shall see.
But Cooper Kupp will go off for 150 and 11 catches.
Well, Cooper only had 29 yards last week. Puka had 150. Right? Saints and Colts.
The Saints might be the most talented bad team in the NFL. Like some of the losses they've had this year, should not have happened.
And the Colts are favored.
And they should be the way they played last week. Honestly, that's what I would have said. I was going to ask you, what's the line?
1.5 Colts.
That makes sense. So it's at home.
It is in Indianapolis.
Look, with Gardner Minshew playing right now, we've talked about it before. He's probably the best backup in the league. He could be starting for probably 10, 12 NFL teams. The Colts have weapons. They have a solid offensive line. They have some decent wide receivers. They have a running back. They have some solid tight ends. They have a good defense. They were starting a rookie quarterback that has a lot of growth to do with a crazy high ceiling that was showing some real good potential. But they were going to lose games because of that. Now Gardner Minshew is going to go out there and probably rock the apple cart a little bit and cause them to not have a very good draft pick.
It's what Gardner does. It's what Gardner does.
Exactly what he does. So that doesn't surprise me at all.
I'm kind of interested in this game. Most of the media will not be interested. Texans and Panthers.
I think that game is going to show the Panthers that they made a mistake. I do, and I said that before the draft. I would have taken Stroud over Bryce Young. I also think the Texans are going to run away with this game a little bit.
I think it'll be close early, and I think it'll be Texans will run away at the end.
Like, kind of walk away and win by like 13 or so at the end of the game, but it'll still feel like it was kind of close, that kind of thing.
It'll be competitive for a little while.
Yeah.
Is what I'm thinking.
I think we're on the same boat.
So, my director at work is a huge Panthers fan.
Ugh.
And before the draft, he was like, CJ Stroud, let's go. Like, he was on the CJ Stroud bandwagon, and him and I talked, and I was like, look, CJ Stroud has enough. He's got the size. He can throw. Like, I just have an issue with a guy who's like 5'10" and looks like a stick. To me, I'm concerned about that dude getting hit by a 330-pound lineman. I'm just like, I am.
And honestly, I wasn't worried about the hit at all. What I'm worried about is, where do you find those throwing lanes? Like, honest to God, listing him at 5'10" is generous, if we're being honest about it. And he's skinny. So, if he gets pushed around a little bit in the pocket, knocked around, he's off his platform.
So let's be honest.
Well, Kyler Murray's really short too. Yeah, but Kyler Murray is stout. Like, you got to hit Kyler Murray to get him down. You got to really wrap him up to get him down.
Right.
You don't have to do that with Bryce Young. And so you're getting jostled around in the pocket. You're getting bumped. You're getting moved off your position. That affects your throwing a lot. Kyler Murray has a better base to throw off of than Bryce Young does. So, even Drew Brees was a little bit taller than Bryce Young. Drew Brees is the most, I believe, Drew Brees is the most accurate passer in NFL history. Doesn't he have the highest completion percentage in NFL history?
I think I can go with that. Yeah, sure.
So in order for Bryce Young to be successful, that's what he has to do. And that's not what he's known for. He was known for being more Patrick Mahomes than he was Drew Brees.
And the fact that he only has Adam Thielen to throw to, for the most part.
That doesn't help either. Although Thielen is having a really nice year.
I mean, Thielen's top 3 in fantasy right now.
Yeah.
So, go figure.
I mean, it's not like Thielen's a bad receiver either. Thielen was money in Minnesota. So
I think that game's interesting. Vikings-Packers in Lambeau.
I'm going to say something crazy, and I understand a lot of people are going to tell me I'm an idiot. Look, we've already discussed this. I'm used to it.
It's not a first for you.
Yeah. That win from Minnesota and that just ugly loss from Detroit, Minnesota's right back in the running for that NFC North.
You know what? They're gaining confidence. And sometimes that's all you need. This is look, the Packers could not even steal a win from the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm confused with the Packers right now. I don't really know what to think there.
And I watched a lot of Jordan Love trying to go deep. There's wide open guys.
Yeah,
wide open guy.
And what's really weird about his deep balls was he was throwing them with confidence. Like, if you watch that, you're like, oh, shit, that's about to be a touchdown. Like, I don't know about you, but as a Broncos fan, I was thinking, damn, he's throwing that like that dude's wide open. And then there was, triple coverage. And you're like, wait, what the hell was he looking at? He's had a couple bad games in a row now. 3, really. And he started off the season really well. And now he's really flatlined. So, I don't know what's going on with the Packers. I expected to see a little bit more from them. The defense is still...
Bro, they have so much talent on that defense, and they suck.
I know. I don't get it. I really thought they'd rebound and get back to a top 10 unit. They're not.
It's gotta be the scheme and coaching.
I was gonna say, are we ready to say LaFleur is just not a dude? Are we ready to say that they were winning because of Aaron Rodgers? Like, because right now, the last couple of years with LaFleur and what he's trying to do have not looked good.
Yeah, I have no confidence in them right now, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. So, where else we got? What do we else we got? We got a couple more. I was trying to go through all the early games before we get to the 225s.
Just move on.
All right, 225. Bengals and 49ers. This game got a lot more interesting. Bengals coming off a bye week. Another week for Joey B to get healthy.
Brock Purdy has another bad game. Are we starting to have a conversation about Sam Darnold? Because I'm going to be honest. I'm going to
say.
I already said I think Sam Darnold's more talented. I already said I think he starts at some point in the season. Then I've already also said Brock Purdy has played really well. That's not happening. But there is zero reason that offense doesn't play better.
So
missing
the
Deebo
last
Samuel.
interception.
They still have so many weapons.
The last interception that Brock Purdy threw was pretty concerning. The second one he threw in the fourth quarter, he threw it to a spot and the wide receiver didn't get to that spot.
Yeah, but dude, let's be honest. Like, even throwing to that spot, like, it was so far past where the wide receiver was. Like, I get thrown with anticipation, but you also have to be able to read that your wide receiver got bumped or something. You can't throw it 15 yards out in front of him. You have to adjust and throw it, 5 or 6 yards out in front of him.
I would have liked to seen Brock do more of the check down game in that game versus trying to take those deep shots. But
like,
I'm not
have you seen the stats with his splits with and without Deebo?
No.
Like, I'm sorry, but there's no excuse for it. Like, just missing Deebo, that roster is still so talented. You should not play that bad.
So they've only lost 2 games. They lost in Cleveland. They had Deebo out. They had McCaffrey out. It was raining. I'm not going to really count. And again, they're in Cleveland. They're not in San Francisco. This game in Minnesota, I just there's something weird felt about it. They definitely need this game. It's not so much
that he turned it over; it's the way in which he turned it over that has me going. Ugh.
He'd have to play. I think it's still the case. He's going to have to play really bad, like epically bad. Because you could say he played pretty good until that fourth quarter. He'd have to play like the whole game, like 2 or 3 of those for Shanahan to make a move to Darnold. Like, that's not happening.
If he has another 2 interception game and they lose, you don't think that moves the needle? Okay.
I'm talking he has to play really bad. Interceptions tell a story. Sometimes they're not always on the quarterback, though.
I agree, but all of his work, like, they just work.
You could say that one was the wide receiver not getting to the spot he was supposed to be.
Nope. That was just, for me.
That's what it looked like to me.
That was thrown way too far out in front for that to be on the wide receiver.
I mean, that's what it looked like to me. God, I think the 49ers won this game, though. I don't think the Bengals defense is that good.
I do. I think it's good enough to mess with that offense right now.
We'll see. Deebo might be back. By then.
Christian McCaffrey scores a touchdown, though. Go ahead and put your money on that right now.
Yeah, just go ahead and put the money on that. That's fine.
Pinky, I saw a stat today. If you started with $10 16 games ago when Christian McCaffrey started this streak, and you rolled that over every week, your winnings, you rolled it over every week and keep betting on him to score a touchdown, you'd be over 430,000 right now.
All right, so
DraftKings would be telling you a Christian McCaffrey touchdown is no longer an option to bet on.
we've got the game that I'm going to, Ravens and Cardinals.
Ravens, I think they're starting to figure things out. Move along. Lamar Jackson's going to have another big game.
I after what I saw, I don't know if the Cardinals have been very competitive every game they've played. I don't know if they'll be competitive in this game. Ravens
The Cardinals,
pretty good.
The Ravens are a 1 game, 8 drop passes, 3 of which were touchdown drop passes away from being undefeated right now. I just want to throw that out there. They are starting to figure it out, and they only have 1 loss. That's a scary thought right now with that roster.
So we've got Browns and Seahawks, which is actually a very interesting game.
This is why it's interesting to me. Did Cleveland bench Deshaun Watson last weekend? Did they use the injury? And I know he was injured, but I say that like that because did they use the injury as the excuse to basically just say Kevin Stefanski was like, I'm out. I'm moving on. Ownership, deal with it. You made a terrible decision. I can't live with this guy. He's never going to be what he was. I'm going to the next option.
I don't know, man. He got checked for concussion. When he fell on the ground, he literally put both of his arms down. He had a shoulder injury. Yep. So he put the arm. I don't know. I
know it's a weird. He was cleared from the concussion, but he did have the shoulder injury. He didn't look good before that situation happened. Like, he probably shouldn't have even played last week. But, damn, dude. There's some big question marks starting to get thrown up in Cleveland.
What sucks
You're talking about worried about the Broncos having to eat a Russell Wilson contract? The Browns are starting to have to now honestly have a conversation about eating a Deshaun Watson contract.
I mean, they're going to give him another year. They're going to.
They don't have a choice, but I'm saying there is a literal conversation in the building now going, ooh, like that might actually have to be an option for us.
And guess what? They don't have a 2024 first-round pick because they gave it to Houston.
They're screwed.
If PJ Walker plays, Seahawks win this game.
If Deshaun Watson plays, the Seahawks win this game.
Well, the line is only 3. If
that's fine. Like, I don't.
That
line would be 3 regardless of who Cleveland's quarterback is because they're both playing at the same level. That line is solely based on the fact that Cleveland's defense is really damn good this year.
And then we have the Chiefs rolling into Denver. It's going to be the first Broncos game I miss in a lot of years. A lot of years.
For those Broncos fans that want to see wins, you're going to be disappointed and sad and angry and frustrated this weekend. For those Broncos fans that have already come to terms with the situation and understand what's best for the organization, you're just going to sit back and enjoy quality football being played from the Kansas City Chiefs.
So, look. I actually think this will be a competitive game.
No. Pinky, no. No.
Hold on. You give me my time, bitch. Okay? You give me my time.
No, man.
This will be a competitive game. The Broncos will find a way to lose. Okay? Done. It's at home.
What does competitive mean to you?
They'll like have a chance to win it in like the fourth quarter, and then they'll find a way to lose.
Oh fuck no, Pinky! You're like building up false hope for no reason. That's not really going to happen.
Build up false hope. That's fucking reality. That's what they do.
No, that's not. No. Even if the score is close, it's never going to actually feel like the Broncos have a chance to win.
I'm going to call you out when I see that they have a chance to win, and then they find a way to throw an interception or something and lose the game.
That won't happen. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it.
So
hey, I will say this. Fantasy-wise, Go get your Pacheco and your Rashee Rice in right now. I mean, Kelsey's a given. I'm just giving you some alternatives.
Well, hold on. No, hold on. Kelsey's not. Well, Kelsey against the Broncos is a given. Kelsey with anybody else, when Swift is not in the house, he's actually only averaging like 50 yards a game. But if Swifty's in the house, he's killing it. It's crazy.
He started off the season. This is why that stat's so terrible. They're basing that on the first 2 games of the season when Kansas City as a whole just started off slow. And then Kansas City, like always, started rolling a little bit. Wheels started moving. Now you're not stopping them, and they're going to keep destroying people. That was going to happen regardless of Swifty.
All right. Last 2 games of the weekend are absolute turds, and they should absolutely flex these games.
I don't understand.
But they didn't.
I don't understand why the Monday night game is even allowed to be a Monday night game. Like, what the hell was the NFL thinking when they put out that schedule?
Didn't they make a thing where they can flex Monday nights, or is it they can flex Thursday nights?
Thursdays.
Because they have to give a 2-week notice. I do know that. So we got Sunday night, Bears versus Chargers. Who the fuck wants to watch that?
I did
I'll
when
be
the season started because I wanted to see Fields, Herbert. There were a lot of storylines that I was interested in. Now I could care less. Look, we know I'm a big Staley guy. I like Staley. I like his aggressiveness, his going for it on 4th down, the unconventional stuff. But the dude, for whatever reason, cannot put it together when it's needed, and he is done.
This might be a hot take. I might take that Bears in the 8.5 points.
No. As I'm thinking about it, I would take the Chargers in the points. Dude, the Bears, I think this is what frustrates me so much about the Bears. It's twofold. I called them out all offseason on any message board I could find about how the front office and the coaching staff is not doing what's needed to truly build around Justin Fields. And by almost every Bears fan I got lit into telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. Pace is the real deal. The offensive line is being corrected. The defense is going to be stout. This, that, and the other. And I kept saying the defense is too young to do anything, and I don't think the play calling is going to – even if they have talent, it's not going to show out. And what they're doing for Fields is a travesty because they still haven't fixed the offensive line to address the true needs. Well, all of that seems to be true, in which case you have a defensive-minded head coach with a team that went defensive heavy to let that be their Band-Aid, if you will. And that's been worse than probably the offense.
But they're not
right?
But they're not good on defense at all.
How bad is that when you say the Bears defense, which they built specifically to be good, is worse than the offense that they completely ignored?
Right.
And then you look at the weapons that the Chargers have. I mean, Herbert, Eckler, Allen, Everett, and then the defensive side, they're going to be able to get to a rookie quarterback with no offensive line. Got 8 points in the Chargers actually sounds kind of good to me right now.
I don't know. Chargers suck.
They do. And let's be honest. If I make that bet, they'll probably find a way to Charger like they always do, and I'll lose my money. But, God, Chicago, I just keep thinking.
Raiders.
Dang.
Last game. Raiders, Lions. All right, talk a little bit. I've got to pee. I won't make it.
Oh, goodness, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to your 40s. The Lions rebound big after last week. They're not as bad as the drumming that the Ravens put on them. I think everybody knows that. It is concerning, the drumming that the Ravens put on them. That is concerning. But they could easily correct it this week. The Lions blow out the Raiders. And the Raiders need to really rethink their we're not trading Devontae Adams idea, because that's just stupid. There's zero reason for the Raiders to keep Devontae Adams right now. So trade Devontae Adams. Take your beating that you're about to get. Like, honestly, I see this as being a 2-touchdown plus game for the Lions.
The line's 8.5.
Yeah, take that and run with it because that's happening. That's definitely.
The Lion or the Raiders saying they won't trade Devontae Adams. Is that like them trying to tell people like, come give us a first, or are they really serious? Because like they're not going anywhere, and they're not even using Devontae Adams.
Oh no, they're
like,
really
what does it
serious.
matter?
I mean, they're really serious. That's Mark Davis and Josh McDaniels just thinking they're better than everybody else is what it comes down to, and it's just not going to work out for them. I'll be amazed if McDaniels is the coach at the end of the season. Because the Raiders are going to be lucky to win another 2 games this year.
What in the hell happened? The Suns were up 15 at halftime, and now they're down. What the shit?
Exactly what I told you was going to happen. They don't have a lot of depth. You let the 3 dudes score, you play some defense on everybody else, and you can go on runs and beat them. Plus, they're playing Golden State. It's not like they're playing somebody who's not any good.
For the most part, I forgot the Thursday night game. Totally skipped it over it. Buccaneers and Bills.
I honestly don't give a shit. The Bills should win. But what I'm seeing from the Bills right now, I have zero faith in the head coach. I have zero faith in the offensive play calling. And again, I think Josh Allen's one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league. But when you put him in positions to where you need him to carry everything, he'll do too much and he'll make a bad choice. And that'll then put you in a position where you're forced to make decisions that you probably didn't want to make to begin with. And so far, when the Bills have had to do that, they make the wrong decision.
The most interesting game of the weekend.
By the way, the Bills will win, and they'll probably win by like 10 plus. I don't have any faith in the Buccaneers. I think they're going to start showing their true colors the second half of the season. And that Baker Mayfield Cinderella story is about to turn back to that pumpkin.
Bengals and 49ers is literally the game of the weekend.
I mean, that's a good game. You say that like it's below par. That's a really good game.
I'm just saying that I don't know if that's as interesting as games we've had in the past.
It's a Super Bowl potential matchup. That's a great game, Pinky.
But like, I don't see anything else on this list of games. I'm like, ooh, that's a great game. That's
it's a good weekend to turn your betting app off, is what it is.
I mean, there's a couple games you can bet. Some of
us will take some risks, and some of us will still play some bets. But if we're being honest, as a whole, this is one of those weekends where you should just kind of take the bets and put them aside.
I feel like Jets 2.5. I think you can smash that. I think you can take Texans by 3. I think you could smash that.
Sure, but this also feels like one of those any given Sunday weekends.
You could have some weird stuff happen. I could agree with that.
Final thoughts, my guy.
Man, I'm going to be busy, bro. In NBA, hockey, Avs are 6-0, baby.
Yeah.
Avs are 6-0. And Islanders gave them a game. They were up 4-3. So
a lot of
analysts
are really high on what the Avs are starting to look like right now.
So and we got the Nuggets coming back for the repeat, and NFL we're to the halfway point. That's where teams usually start to separate. Man, my poor wife. She's going to have to watch more Nuggets and Avs than she thought. That poor lady.
It's going to happen.
Because the YouTube TV is only on our living room TV.
Ooh.
Because my buddy signed into it, and I've got his login now, and I'm just signed in.
Oh, Pinky, that's starting to sound like a recipe for mistakes were made.
Nope. She knows. She knows.
Okay.
She signed up early, and she knows, and she wants to go to the Super Bowl, so she's not going to change anything.
I mean, that's a good point. You got that in your back pocket for the whole season. That's solid.
She doesn't want. I've had so many people like, if your wife doesn't want to go, like, you're welcome to tell me, and I'm like, yeah. Like, I think she'd probably stab somebody. Yeah. Like, she really would. She's like, I even asked her, I don't know if I told you, I asked her, I was like, hypothetically, if the Browns make the Super Bowl, would you let me take Caleb to the Super Bowl? And she was like, no, not at all. Nope.
Look, if I'm being honest, as a man and a husband, even if that scenario happened, I would look at my son and say, eat a giant dick. Figure out how to do that on your own time. I'm taking your mom. For so many reasons that you are well aware of now as an adult, I'm not going to say them out loud.
That's pretty much how it happened. Pretty much how it happened. She's like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. You are not giving it away to anybody else.
No.
And I was like, you're good, baby. I'm not talking about taking anybody but you. I just wanted to hypothetically, if the Browns somehow found their way to the Super Bowl, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. I'm not stupid. I know you're changing my poop bag in 20 years. Like, we're good. Yeah, that's fine. I will say I am stoked about the NBA season starting. I'm really excited to see how things start playing out at the beginning. And Broncos fans, like, just start coming to terms. Like, I'm not trying to have these arguments. I'm tired of people telling me I'm stupid for thinking rationally. Like, let's just not do this anymore.
Let people enjoy any of the wins that we get.
I'm letting them do whatever they want. It's those that come after me that then have to get a reality check. And I'm just saying, like, let's not do that. Like, don't come after me, and then you don't have to get your reality check. That's all.
Okay, so the other thing that I'll say about that is players and teams don't tank. It's fans and upper management that hopes they tank. Now, there's ways you can try to help that along, but the guys on the field are always going to try to play well and win.
Well, if the front office is doing their job, they won't. Like, it's really that simple. Like, if the front office is doing, like, if you trade Judy, Sutton, Surtain, Simmons, you're done winning. Like, that's just a pretty simple fact of the matter. And that would be the right thing and the smart thing to do at this stage of the situation. Do I think Patton? Yeah, I said Patton because I'm tired. I'm tired of the man. I'm going to mispronounce his name.
Look,
on purpose. Do I think he'll do it? Do I think the ownership will have him do it? No. I think all those dudes are still on the team by the time the season ends. And we're going into next year going, shit.
So, look, I'm going to be honest. I do think a couple guys get traded. But it's got to be – I just think the Broncos are trying to hold out for that, like, we want to get a little bit more than we think we're going to get. That's what they're holding out for. Because the trade deadline's not until next week.
I know. They're what they're trying to do is they're trying to Milwaukee this shit. And there's not a Milwaukee out there for your Dame Lillard. There's not. You don't have a Dame Lillard, guys. You have a God dang. How can I relate this to Nuggets fans? You have a Ty Lawson at best when the Nuggets were playing and Ty Lawson was almost all-star. He's not truly that good. And so when you finally went to trade him, you found out that you weren't going to get the value you thought you were. And that's where the Nuggets are at right now. I mean, the Broncos are at right now. And the longer they wait, the less that value is going to go down. Because the product on the field is not going to ever increase that value going forward. So, we'll see what happens. On that note, Pinky, you're my guy. Everybody else that supports us, share, like, tweet, retweet, follow, everything.
So
you enough. We appreciate it. Share us, spread us around, tell your friends about us.
I'll get some pictures and some videos of the Cardinal Stadium on the page this week. We're doing the stadium tour Saturday and then the game Sunday.
Perfect. So keep an eye out for that. As always, you have those moments, those, spaces in time, if you will, where you can enjoy that quality time with your loved ones, your friends, your family, your inner circle. Never pass them up. Never take them for granted. Cherish them. We appreciate all of you. Have a great week. We'll see you next week, baby. Peace.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in